The prodigal church and the inner return vertical bar for the divine seekers. God is dead, God remains dead, and we have killed him. Friedrich Nietzsche, The Gay Science. You are the body of Christ, and each one of you is a part of it. 1 Corinthians 12:27. There is a sacred silence few dare to enter. It is the silence after the temple doors close, not in triumph, but in abandonment. The silence of churches echoing with empty ritual. The silence of hearts that remember a love they no longer feel. A silence that cries louder than any sermon. And in that silence, the question arises, what if the prodigal son is not just the individual, but the church itself? The inheritance squandered, when the sacred becomes hollow. The church was born in fire, in tongues, in ecstasy, in trembling love. Its inheritance was not gold or glory, but mystical wisdom, sacred compassion, radical transformation. But like the son in the parable, the church took its inheritance and traded spirit for spectacle, having a form of godliness, but denying its power. 2 Timothy 3:5. The altars are adorned, but the inner fire has gone cold. We worship the shadow of what once was, not the living presence. Nietzsche's words were not mockery, they were lament. When he cried, "We have killed God," he meant this, that we've forsaken the living divine for the comfort of dead forms. We kept the rituals, but lost the reality. Tseku, the city desolate, a church made of broken bodies. How deserted lies the city once full of people. Lamentations 1:1. Bitterly she weeps at night. Lamentations 1:2. The church, the collective body of believers, is in ruins because its members are dismembered. Wounded people gather in wounded spaces, expecting wholeness to emerge from fragmentation. But a sick body cannot be well if each cell is sick. Carl Jung called this loss of soul. When individuals live disconnected from the deepest parts of themselves, they project their inner chaos onto collective structures. The church becomes not a sanctuary, but a battlefield of broken egos, unexamined pain, and spiritual disassociation. We are not just lost, we are scattered within. And yet, this too is part of the myth. Third, the lion and the chariot. The call to inner mastery. Ancient sages taught that before you can rule cities or heavens, you must rule yourself. Plato spoke of the charioteer steering two horses, reason and desire. Only with discipline can the soul ascend. The Stoics preached sovereignty over the passions. In Kabbalah, the Sephirot must be brought into balance for divine energy to flow. In Christianity, Paul writes, "I strike a blow to my body and make it my slave." 1 Corinthians 9:27. Our modern churches speak of grace, but too rarely of governance, not over others, but over the self. You are not only a soul, you are a temple, a wheel of spiritual forces, a living altar. Your body is the battlefield where heaven meets earth. If the church is sick, it is because we have abandoned inner mastery, letting the lion of the ego run wild and the serpent of fear coil unchallenged. IV. Revelation is not about the end, it's about awakening. He who has ears to hear, let him hear what the Spirit says to the churches. Revelation 2:7. The book of Revelation is not merely about apocalypse, it is about unveiling. The word apocalypsis means to reveal. And what is revealed? The 7 churches. Ancient congregations, yes, but also spiritual organs within you. They are the 7 chakras, the 7 levels of awakening, the 7 trumpets of internal evolution. Ephesus, your first love, your sacred center. Smyrna, your pain, your crucible of strength. Pergamum, your temptations and truth. Thyatira, your inner corruption and purification. Sardis, your apathy, the sleep before the storm. Philadelphia, your open door, the call to trust. Laodicea, your lukewarmness, the fire to choose again. Each is a call to the soul, and the church will never awaken until you awaken. You are the seal. You are the trumpet. You are the temple. But there is more. One ancient vision echoes through time, a dream beneath stars on a stone pillow in the desert. He had a dream in which he saw a stairway resting on the earth, with its top reaching to heaven, and the angels of God were ascending and descending on it. Genesis 28:12. Jacob's ladder is not just a cosmic escalator, it is a map of the soul. Each angel ascending and descending wasn't just a heavenly being, it was an aspect of his own divine anatomy. In Kabbalistic tradition, these are the 72 angels, or Shem HaMephorash, the sacred names, archetypes, or divine attributes encoded into the very structure of our spirit. They are facets of God's light dwelling within the human being, waiting to be activated, integrated, aligned. These angels are not distant watchers. They are energetic forces living within the body, the mind, the emotional field. Every breath, every trial, every awakening moves one of them up or down the inner ladder. When Jacob wrestled in the dark, he wasn't just wrestling with a man. He was wrestling with the angel of his own becoming. With each angel, he faced the fragments of himself that longed to be brought back into unity. And when he finally said, "I will not let you go unless you bless me," he wasn't clinging to a being. To be Christ's self, he was demanding integration. The blessing was not comfort. It was a wound, a limp that marked him as one who had seen God face to face and lived. Israel, not just a name, but a state of consciousness. The one who wrestles, the one who returns. The inner return, becoming the church again. The true prodigal returns not only to the Father, but to the flame, to the silence, to the sacred thread within. The church is not a building, nor an institution, nor a creed. The church is you, when you remember, when you live as temple, breathe as altar, and love as Christ. This is not rebellion. It is remembrance, not heresy, but homecoming. It begins when you awaken to the angel within your name. It continues when you gather the scattered pieces and offer them upon the inner altar. It completes when the silence within you is no longer empty, but full of light. The church will not be saved by louder sermons, grander stages, or clever theology. It will be saved by those brave enough to descend into themselves and return with the fire. If this message stirred something in you, if you felt the echo of your own return rising from the silence, then I invite you to share it. Not just with others, but with your deeper self. Like this video if it resonated, share it with a fellow seeker, and subscribe for more teachings like this. You can find more of my work, offerings, and I Am products, tools for inner mastery and awakening, on my website, www.fragilewarrior.com. And remember, you are not lost. You are returning. You are the temple. You are the fire. Until next time, walk gently, breathe deeply, and listen for the silence between the notes.